obviously an excellent student, strong in the classroom, and you're able to do that in a consistent way. This is exactly what medical schools want to see. Well, hello, Maysen. Welcome to Am I Ready?
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Well, good. I'm glad. We're excited to get to meet you and experience a little bit with you tonight. Tell us where you're calling from.
I'm calling from Boise, Idaho. It's the capital of Idaho, but it's still a very small town.
Okay.
I
Cool.
grew up in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, so I've always been in Idaho.
Right. I see. Cool. Now, Boise's in the northern part of the state. Is that right? Or
It's in the southern.
oh, so I was totally wrong then.
Yeah, Coeur d'Alene's in the northern.
Okay.
Maybe.
So is it what's the weather like there tonight?
It's 50s.
Okay.
It's been nice. We haven't really had any snow. So I've been happy. I'm not a snow person, but yeah. So it's been nice. I think it's starting to warm up.
Yeah, good. Yeah, I'm in Austin, Texas, and we've had a very mild, what I would consider a mild winter. We did have one snow so far, which we got about 2 inches, I guess, total, and it was gone about 12 hours later from the sun coming out. So
I would love to be in Texas. The humidity just sounds amazing, honestly.
Yeah. It's not bad, I have to say. It's not bad. Good. Well, let's get to get on with what we're doing, and we'll look at your mapped account and kind of get a sense of who you are and what you're all about and what you're doing. So first, I like to start off with the grades and stuff and the GPA graph. So we'll look at that, and I see that according to your mapped account, Mapped has calculated your AMCAT GPA to be a really wonderful 3.91. It's just unfortunate that you can't be a better student, I guess. So I'm kidding, of course.
No, I've tried. The 4.0 is
and then the science GPA of 3.85, also a great, strong GPA. Looks like you're, as you would expect, the graph shows a trend that is a wonderful trend. Everything is really 3.85, pretty much and above. It looks like tell us a little bit about the drop there at the end.
Yeah, that was OChem too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got a B- in OChem too.
Okay.
That was last semester, and it was all online. So I hate to say that it was because it was online, but I also did have like zero motivation. I was not in it. So
now you said that was OChem 1 or 2?
2.
Okay, so you're done with OChem then.
Yeah, I'm done with OChem. Thanks.
Yeah, so now are you in biochemistry now?
I was also in biochemistry last semester, so I did them at the same time. Yeah.
Okay. You did OChem 2 and biochem at the same time. Yeah. Okay. Good. So, and what I would say is, overall, you're obviously an excellent student, strong in the classroom, good head on your shoulders, and you're able to do that in a consistent way. This is exactly what medical schools want to see. Yours is the trend is not an upward trend. It's also not a downward trend. It is a consistent trend of strong academic work in the classroom. You should be very proud of this.
Thank you.
You're obviously a great student. Now, I didn't ask you this, but what's your major?
My major is health sciences, so it's kind of it's focused around like health administration, health, just kind of like a health focus, but it also incorporated all of the prerequisites. So that's kind of why I chose that.
Yeah, that's great. Excellent. Okay, so let's skip down now and look at your MCAT scores. You're well on the way to completing your prerequisites, so we see that as pretty much done. Now, it looks like we have a graph here as well, which shows your progress over time. Now, it looks like you've taken maybe a couple of practice MCAT test. Is that right? Or why don't you go over to the tab on the left?
Oh, yeah.
The MCAT tab on the left, and we'll look at those. So you see a practice test back in December, and then a practice test just recently, not too long ago, and these are going well. You're raising your first practice test 487, and then your second practice test recently was 498. So that's a pretty big jump, 11-point jump over the time of one exam to the other. If you could have another 11-point jump, that'd be up to 409. I mean 509, and that'd be fantastic. And then so when is your plan? When are you planning to take the MCAT, the real test?
So I have the Blueprint online course, and for that I've made my target date May 20th. So I hope that I can get that date when I register. And that's when I'm hoping to take it. I've been kind of I guess discouraged because I thought that I would do a lot better on these, but I obviously understand it's only been a few tests, but I'm hard on myself. So
yeah. Don't be. I mean, being hard on yourself cuts both ways. You know, it can be beneficial in terms of driving you and that motivation. I'm going to do this. I'm going to score better next time, etc. Right. The downside of that obviously is it can really upset the apple cart in terms of your emotional health. And if you get down on yourself, I can't do this test isn't working for me, blah, 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 then it can be a real downer. So use the good stuff.
Yeah.
Throw away the bad stuff, and let that motivate you. Let that drivenness that you find about yourself to motivate you to do better and better as you go along in the test. So I'm glad to hear that you're doing. It sounds like you got a good plan in terms of MCAT. Taking the MCAT. Pretty much know when you're going to take it. You've got a plan in terms of a study routine. Sounds like over the course of the next several months. So that sounds good. Sounds good to me. So don't be discouraged by those scores. Just keep up the good work.
I'm like, it's still 6 months away, but it feels so much closer than that.
Yeah, I understand. I understand it. And it'll be here before you know it. And that's where I really encourage you. Have your plan in place. Have your study plan in place, whatever that is for you. So you're using Blueprint materials now. Do you have online access to Blueprint materials, or what are you doing in terms of the study routine?
I have their course, so they give out modules and they set a study plan for you, and they just give you modules every single day to work on, and then they also schedule the full lengths for you. Like mine are scheduled like a couple Fridays a month.
Good. Well, that's one of the things that's beneficial about signing up for a program like that, whether it's Blueprint or one of the others out there, Kaplan or Princeton Review or whatever. A lot of our students seem to like Blueprint, like the format and
very much like.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what I would say is just keep up the good work in terms of that plan that they've established for you. Do what they ask you to do when they ask you to do it, and just keep your nose to the grindstone, and that'd be great. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, let's look at your activities. That tab on the left with the activities, and why don't you walk us through this a little bit and tell us what you've been up to?
Yeah, so I started college. I didn't have a job or anything my freshman year, but sophomore year I started working, and I didn't know I was pre-nursing freshman year. And then that summer I decided I wanted to switch. So I switched to Premed, and that's kind of when I started doing all of my pre-medical stuff and kind of focusing on that in terms of activities. But I did work at chip cookie. I don't know if you know what that is, but it's kind of just like a little dessert place. Yeah.
Sounds very yummy.
It was. It's great. And I also worked at Cold Stone, so I guess I just really like.
Oh
dessert.
wow!
I don't.
Yeah, right. Apparently.
But and then I got into scribing.
Yeah. Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah. So I scribed for a physical therapy clinic for a while. It sadly wasn't what I expected it to be. It was more of like a transcriptionist job. So luckily though, I got an internship with a local orthopedic clinic around that same time, and I fell in love with the provider, the clinic, and the patients, and he actually hired me as a scribe after my internship. So I've been doing that ever since.
Yeah, so 1,300 hours of scribing, and then you became the lead scribe.
Yes, and I also scribe at the local hospital for a hospitalist, and so I'm the lead scribe there.
Oh wow, that's wonderful. That's another 450 hours, so that's a total of almost 1,800 hours of scribing. And I'm a real fan of scribing because I think it gets you into contact with the whole environment and everything about the environment. You know, and I'm sure what you have seen is at the orthopedic clinic, scribing there is much different than scribing in the hospital.
I had a very large awakening once I went to the hospital. I was like, wait, what? This happens? Like, it was crazy. But yeah, it's been a great experience.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. It's it's one of those things where you just get access to, and you are you just have playing out in front of you so many different things that you get to see and be a part of and experience and know what's going on and what the doctors are asking and why and what they're ordering and why and that kind of stuff. So good for you. That's amazing clinical experience. So
I feel like I've also been fortunate enough that the providers I do work for love to teach, so they're always telling me like why they're doing.
That's awesome.
They like when I ask questions too, so I feel like I've been very fortunate in that regard.
Yeah, that's awesome. Wow. Very, very cool. Very cool. So really, I guess your other scribe position is down further down. So really, scribing, we're talking about probably 2,300 hours. Approaching that in terms of the amount of hours that you spent in that activity. So that's wonderful. That's really amazing. Really great.
Yeah. And I've enjoyed it too, so I feel like I've gotten a lot out of it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Awesome. So we could scroll down a little bit toward the bottom and see what's there. We have some shadowing experiences, and that's always fantastic. What kind of doctor is Dr. Bridges?
She's a neurosurgeon.
Okay, so you've been in an orthopedic environment. You've been with a hospitalist. And then you've been with a neurosurgeon. So quite a variety of things. Yeah, that's awesome. And now what's on page 2? So you've done a little bit of lab work, looks like. Both, I think you had some biochemistry stuff that you had on the other page. And then this page, volunteer lab assistant in the cadaver lab. Oh, I bet that was very interesting as well.
It was. It was the first time I've ever actually, worked with a cadaver before, and so I was really nervous. But I learned so much, just anatomy-wise. It was really, really interesting.
Yeah, that's awesome. Very cool. Very cool. And orange therapy. You are still do that?
Yep, love it. Go every day.
Yeah, that's awesome. Very cool. There's a orange therapy not too far from where I live, and I've considered it, but I don't know.
It's also like $1 million a month. So
really? Good to know. Yeah, good to know. So let's head back over to the dashboard. Okay. And what I see here is a emerging picture. Maysen, I think that what we have here is you are a exceptionally strong student in the classroom, and that is within the context of doing all that you do, the work that you do, volunteer type stuff as well. But that's a big commitment that you have to the classroom, obviously. But it also signals to me not only are you a strong student in the classroom, but you're intellectually very capable. And so I would really just say that's a great job on that. Keep up the good work. And don't let the blip in OChem 2 affect you too much. It is what it is. Move on.
Oh yeah. I was so depressed at first, but I was like, you know what? Once I'm in med school, I will never think about it again. So.
That's exactly right. MCAT scores yet to be seen. Right. Don't know what that's going to end up with. My expectation is that if you go through the plan and really work hard at everything that you are doing in a commitment to specific MCAT preparation, that you'll do well. Do you have a target score that you're really wanting to shoot for?
Yes, I just put 510 because I don't want to upset myself. And I've also just feel like I'm not the best at standardized testing, so I was like, I'm just gonna 510.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah. Good. Good. And then obviously the activities, you've got a lot of clinical and experience in your activity list and stuff, and lots of hours there, lots of great, rich experiences. So that really is fantastic. Now, one thing I do want to look at before we leave MAPT is do you have some med schools that you're considering listed in your med school list?
Oh, yeah.
So unfortunately, Idaho is one of those states that has 0 medical schools, correct?
Yeah, we actually they opened one about 3 years ago. Idaho College of Medicine is osteopathic medical school.
But
I don't think I'm gonna apply there just because I think I'm going to apply DO, but I also I'm shooting more MD, and I kind of want to go somewhere just more established, I think.
Yeah. And that, that says a lot about you and your, the wisdom of considering what you're looking for in a medical school. So we have a variety. And so you said you're applying MD as well as some DO schools?
Right.
Okay. Yeah, that's great. So I see a variety of schools around the country: Arizona, California. I see Colorado, Georgetown's over in Washington. A couple Des Moines, Iowa, Tulane down in New Orleans. So you've got quite a few schools on your list, and that's just page 1. So we see page 2 here, and a lot of schools. Looks like mostly in the western, sort of southwestern, western U.S., but some over on the East Coast as well. Wake Forest, Duke. So you're shooting. You've got a big net here. What is your goal in terms of number of schools that you're looking at?
I actually have in my notes in my phone, I have about 18 schools.
Okay.
But when I was going through here, I was like, oh, I haven't even considered this. Let me just click it. So this is 22. But I would like to stay in the Northwest, but there's just not a lot of options. I mean, California loves California students.
Yes.
And so does Nevada and Arizona. So I mean, I'm hoping my top 2 are University of Utah and University of Washington.
Okay.
So cool. That's my top 2, and then I kind of just went anywhere else I met their requirements.
Yeah.
Accepted their mission and was like, I would go there if I was.
Yeah. Sure. Well, 17, 18 is pretty much average these days in terms of the number of schools that students apply to. So I would say you're pretty much right in the mix of what I would expect to be looking for a student to be looking at, particularly one with your your profile of how things look at this point. So all in all, Maysen, what I really think is that you're great. You're going to be a great applicant. You're going to be somebody who's very attractive to a lot of different medical schools. My expectation is you're going to get a lot of you get some interview requests, and that you're going to interview at these places, and that you'll you'll likely end up having a choice of where you want to go to medical school. So
that's the dream, I
yeah,
think.
right, exactly. But I think some of that's going to be dictated a little bit by the MCAT's going to have a role in that, obviously,
Mhm.
and but as to the big question of the night, am I ready? I think you're absolutely ready. I don't think
Oh,
there's
thank you.
no reason for you to delay or consider anything other than applying this year. You got a great academic record. You got a great list of activities. You're doing lots of stuff, and you're working hard on the MCAT and stuff like that. So it seems to me like it's a slam dunk. Go ahead and apply this year. Put your stuff out there and let the medical schools look at you, and then you move forward with that. But I'd suspect Maysen that you got a good future ahead of you.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Do you have any other questions that you've been wondering about while we're here?
Yeah, so I actually do have a red flag, as Dr. Gray would say. I in 2017 or 18, I got a misdemeanor for disturbing the peace.
Okay.
And I mean, I was so young. I've completely, accepted it and just been like, it is what it is.
Right.
But I don't know. I feel like hearing Dr. Gray, he's like, as long as you accept it and you can say that you were wrong, then it shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. The question that's going to be on the applications that you're going to be completing is basically going to say, is there anything in your criminal history that we need to know about that's going to come up on a criminal background check, and you're going to describe, in a short way, you're going to describe what the situation was, what occurred, and then you're going to move quickly on to what you learned from that situation. And it's really goes back to what I talk about a lot, which is the what and the so what. The what is what happened, how things played out and what you got arrested for and charged with. And then the so what is, what value did this end up having to me? Was it a aha moment for you? Oh, I better get my shit together here. So, whatever, or, what did that do for you? And so, so that's the two components of answering that question. But I agree with you. There are so many applicants who, what we see a lot of is public intoxication, underage drinking, infractions, on campus infractions for alcohol in the dorms, or things like that. These are very disturbing the peace. These things are not uncommon at all. Particularly in early years of college, when you're freshman and sophomore, and you're like, don't have a clue, and you're just having fun.
Invincible.
Yes, exactly. So I wouldn't worry about that at all. I think you explain it, you talk about how you learned from it, and then you move on. But I completely agree with Dr. Gray. You have to own it. No, don't want to see any explanation that suggests that it was somehow someone else's fault, or somebody talked you into it, or you definitely own it. Explain it, move on. But I wouldn't be concerned about that.
Okay. Yeah, that's good to know.
Yeah, good. Any other questions for tonight?
I don't think so. I think I just do wonder what will happen with my MCAT. I'm just kind of curious how that'll all work out. But otherwise, no, I don't have any other questions.
Okay, well, I really appreciate you joining us tonight on Am I Ready? And I hope it was helpful to you. And we certainly would love to have you keep in contact with us, so we know how things play out for you. So just email us every now and then and let us know what's going on.
Yeah, for sure. It was great to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you.